Okay, what we're going to take a look at today is what are called measures of central tendencies. And measures of central tendency deal with the mean, the median, and the mode. Okay, and we're going to find all three of these in today's lesson. Okay, so first of all, here is my data. Okay, now what I've done, I've taken it and I've listed it from least to greatest. And that's the first thing that you're going to want to do to find these. Okay, so once it's listed from least to greatest, then you can go ahead and find the mean, the median, and the mode. Now the mean is nothing more than the average. So you add these numbers up and you divide by the number of numbers. So in this case here, when you add these up, and I've already added them, they add up to 59. Okay, and there's 7 numbers there. So 59 divided by 7, okay, comes out to 8.4287, and it goes on further. Now, in the directions, generally it's going to ask you to round to a certain place value. And for this case here, let's round it to the nearest tenth. Okay, the nearest tenth would be one place past the decimal. So the 2 tells me to leave the 4 alone. Okay, so this is going to round to 8.4. So our mean here is going to be 8.4, and that's rounded to the nearest tenth. Okay, the median. The median is the middle number. And this is where listing them from least to greatest becomes very important. Okay, it's the middle number when the data is listed in order from least to greatest. Obviously, if we just pick the middle number out of here, when the data is not listed from least to greatest, it really doesn't mean anything. But now once we get it in this form here, our middle number is 7. Okay, we got 3 numbers to the left of it and 3 numbers to the right of 7. Okay, so our median is 7. Now our mode is the number that appears most often. Okay, and if you look up here, 3 is the number that appears most often. It appears twice. So our mode would be 3. Now, there can be situations where there's no mode. If all the numbers appear only once, then there's no mode. Or there could be more than one mode. Okay, in this case, 3 appeared twice. Let's say 6 appeared twice. Then we'd have 3 and 6 for the mode. Okay, now, if we just look this over a little bit, because quite often what happens when you work with measures of central tendency, they're going to ask which one of these best represents the data. Okay, well, if you look at the median, it's 7, and you look at the mean, it's 8.4. Okay, both of those would be very good to use to represent this data. The mode being 3, I don't think that's probably the best number to use that to represent this particular data here. Okay, and generally speaking, the mean or the average is going to be the best to use unless you have outliers, or you have which would be a real small number in comparison to the data, or a real large number in comparison to the rest of the data. And in this case, we don't. Okay, our smallest number being 3, our largest number being 15. So no outliers there. So in most cases, if that's the situation, you're best off to use the mean, which in this case would be 8.4. Okay, let's take a look at another one. Here's a situation where we have 4 data items. Okay, so I listed them from least to greatest. All right, now, to find the mean, once again we add them up. Okay, and they add up to 836. And if we divide that by 4, okay, we're going to end up getting 209 for our mean or our average. Now the median, the middle number. Okay, in this case here now, we don't have one true middle number. We have an even number of data items. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to take these 2 items and we got to find the average or the middle of those. So we would add these 2 numbers up and divide by 2. Okay, we would find the mean basically of those 2. Okay, and when we do that, that comes out to 210.5. Okay, so the median in this case would be 210.5. Once again, we add them up and we divide by 2. In the mode, in this case here, there is no mode. Now don't put 0 here, because if you put 0 here, you're saying the mode is 0. That's not the case. Okay, so we would put none or no mode would be an appropriate answer there. But don't put a 0 down, okay, because that's a number, and you're saying that that's the mode then, okay? So mode would be none. All right. Now sometimes you're going to see data set up this way, okay? On a number line, and the X's are basically telling you what the numbers would be. Okay, there's 3 10s, there's 4 12s, there's a 13, a 14, and 2 16s. Okay, so we could use this to find a mean. We just add them all up. Okay, they're kind of nice when they're in this form because you can combine like 30 here, 48, okay, 32. They add up a little bit faster. Okay, so when you add these up here and divide by the number of numbers, you count them out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 numbers. Okay, you're going to end up with 137 when you add them up. And you divide by the 11 numbers, and you end up with the mean being 12.5. Okay, the median, the middle number. Well, we can find the middle number from here. Okay, here are 3 10s. So if I take these 3 off, okay, let's just say that if I cross them off or whatever, I really don't want to write on here right now. Well, I guess I can cross them. So if I cross these 3 off, I got to go over here and cross off 3 from the other end. So these 2 plus this one. Okay, so now I'm left with these 5 numbers. Okay, so if I take this one, I got to take one of these here. So say this one. Okay, if I take this and take this, okay, there's going to be my middle number, okay, which in this case is 12. So the median is 12. In the mode, which one appears most often? Well, now I've kind of messed it all up a little bit there, but you can still see that 12 appears 4 times, so the mode would be 12, okay? 10 would not be the mode because it only appears 3 times. 12 appears 4, so 4 is greater than 3, so we go with 12 here for our mode. Okay, and if you notice on this one, the measures of central tendency, which one best represents the data? Well, they're all pretty good. Okay, no outliers, no real small number or real large number in comparison to the rest of the data. So I would say the mean would probably be the best to use 12.5. Okay. So that basically takes us through the measures of central tendency, the mean, median, and mode. Hopefully this helped.